Everyone has experienced feelings of jealousy at some point in their life. Perhaps you've been jealous of a colleague at work, a neighbor, or a former boyfriend or girlfriend. Although these feelings can bring out the worst for some, others may decide to take action and ultimately seek revenge. Revenge has many faces and varies across cultures. In South African culture, there is a legend that is called upon by jealous, malevolent people in order to bring harm to those they envy. The legend is known as Tokoloshe. Tokoloshe is said to be a tiny, goblin-like creature that comes and harms a person while they sleep. In its least harmful form, a Tokoloshe can be used to scare children. Still, it's very powerful and dangerous, and it's able to cause illness and even death. It is said that it can disappear into thin air by just drinking water or swallowing a stone. The creature can be banished by a priest knowledgeable of the evil who has the power to expel it. Tokoloshes are said to be summoned by using a seance-like ritual. First, a jealous person will find a sorcerer with the intention to get vengeance on someone. The person has to promise the soul of a loved one, but cannot choose which soul will be taken. The Tokoloshe will choose the soul it decides to take. Then, the sorcerer will locate a dead body to be possessed, piercing the eye sockets and brain with a hot iron rod so that it cannot think for itself, and sprinkling it with a special powder, shrinking the body. At this point, the Tokoloshe is then let loose to terrorize its target, taking its payment of the soul of the client's loved one at some point in the future. Some say only children can see the Tokoloshe, which is why it's believed killing adults is easier. Legend says if you ever spot one, never look at it or pay attention to it. The creature causes trouble, but only becomes evil when controlled by an evil sorcerer or jealous foe. The Tokoloshe is described as a weird, zombie-like creature. It is brown, hairy, and resembles a dwarf, speaking with a lisp. It often appears naked, but sometimes wears a cloak. Although most quickly dismiss the Tokoloshe as folklore, there appears to be some truth with the legend. In the past, families needed a place to stay warm, so they lit fires inside their huts. They never realized, though, the fire was depleting the oxygen levels, leaving deadly carbon monoxide, which is heavier than pure air and floats to the bottom. As time progressed, it was realized that anyone who happened to be sleeping in an elevated position escaped the deadly curse of the Tokoloshe. The Tokoloshe was described as about 2 feet tall and capable of taking one's life if they weren't out of reach of the creature. As time progressed, tribes lifted their beds off the ground with bricks under the legs, and many people in South Africa continue to practice this to this day. It is believed this is the only way to keep the Tokoloshe away at night. Today, the Tokoloshe is still a big part of South African culture. They are making headlines throughout the country on a regular basis. Many still believe that the Tokoloshe is out there and can be summoned by someone envious of their success. Medicine shops in South Africa often sell products to protect against this supernatural being. These products include a concoction made from Tokoloshe fat. One would simply smear it on their skin as a repellent. It is said there are different kinds of Tokoloshes, but one thing remains consistent. They wreak havoc in the lives of all those unfortunate enough to encounter them. They're blamed for everything, including murder, addiction, bankruptcy, divorce, and debt. Perhaps ever if you travel to South Africa, consider sleeping in a bed high off the ground.